allergic to cats, so I could imagine.
Hello, hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello, hello. Here we go. Okay, so Allie is going to be arriving about 15 or so minutes late, but everybody else is supposed to be at 3.
Okay, fantastic.
So the only person we are missing right now is Lidra.
Let me text her real quick.
I know she was going to get in from her classroom. Y'all see my screen okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Alrighty. If y'all are okay, I know Lidra's going to join us along with Allie. Are you guys okay if I go ahead and get started?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Alrighty. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the BPA Go-To meeting. We will follow the agenda as it's been emailed to you and publicly noticed. This is a meeting of the Go team, so only members of the team may participate in our discussion today. So as we are members of the Go team, please identify yourself when you speak. I am pleased to call this meeting of the BPA Go team to order at 3:03 p.m. Our first order of business is to call roll, and so Tanasha will take roll for us.
All right. Roll. We have our principal, Holly Brookins,
Present.
Ed Cruz,
Here.
Amy Salter.
She's
Present.
Oh, perfect. Melanie Williams,
here.
Morgan King Ray,
Here.
Jordan Lingenfelter.
Here. I don't know how to change my name on here, so y'all just
Hey, Ellis.
You can do it.
thank you.
Lidra West.
Here.
Okay. Allie Wilson, we know, is joining us. Shamika Batiste.
Here.
And Tanasha Mahone is here.
Excellent. So we have our quorum, so we can go ahead and take some action today. Our first action item, first order of business, is to approve our agenda that was provided to you. Does anybody have any changes to our agenda? All right, excellent. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve.
Proof.
Thank you, Melanie. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ed. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand so that Tanasha can record your vote.
Okay.
Yeah. All opposed, please say nay. And any abstentions, please say abstain. Alrighty, perfect. So now we will move to approve the meeting minutes from our last meeting. They were also provided to you. When you all reviewed them, were there any corrections to make? All right, excellent. If we don't have any corrections, may I have a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes?
I move to approve.
Thank you, Melanie. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Lidra. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Thank you. No abstentions. And No opposition to it, so that has gone ahead. We have two other action items today. You see our strat plan, just to officially say that we accept it as we have worked on it, and then we will rank our strategic plan objectives. We will take that action after we go through those discussion items, as we see here. So we will go ahead and get into our finalization of our school strategic plan. Just to review from our last meeting, we have revised our mission. We kept our same vision. We made our proposed goals in alignment with our school plan, and now we are within our strategic plan with those objectives, as you see here. So we have to get our strategic plan finalized so that we can rank our objectives, as also here. Dr. Brookins, would you like to chat about our strategic plan?
Yes, thank you. But first, can you send Diane Jacoby? It looks like she might need the Zoom link.
Yes, I can.
Okay, fantastic. So we worked on our mission, updated the mission. Thank you for that. About a month or so ago. We have been sharing that with the community as well. We added a little bit into it, wordsmithed it a bit, so you can see it right there. Okay, and then we have our strategic objectives here. Strengthening our instructional core. We worked on this, I believe, a month ago as well. So BPA students will have high quality instruction, materials, and targeted support. Falls under strengthening the core, caring for every child. BPA students will have trusted, supportive adults meeting their unique needs. Sparking student curiosity. Our students will have access to explore and expand their passions and interests. And then shifting over, our strength is our team. So BPA students will have effective and engaged teachers, leaders, and staff. Our responsibility is shared. So our students will have supportive families, communities, and partners. And then our school is efficient and effective. So our students will have the schools and resources they need to succeed. Do we have any additional discussion around what we drafted and created the last time we were together? Do we feel like this fits our school and our mission and vision? Okay. I think we had a lot of discussion prior as we were moving to tweak and draft and create this. So it looks like, hi, Diane. So if there is no further discussion here, Morgan, do we need to move forward to approve this as it is?
Yes, we will. All right. So may I have a motion to approve our 2025 to 2030 strategic plan?
I move to approve.
Thank you, Melanie. May I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Ed. All in favor of our strategic plan, please say aye or raise your hand so Tanasha can capture. Awesome. Are there all opposed? Please say nay. And any abstentions? Perfect. All right. So our strategic plan is official. Thank you all for your hard work and discussion, collaboration around creating this.
That was great work, everyone. Fantastic.
There we go.
Okay.
So continue, Dr. Brookins.
Okay, so now we need to take a look at ranking the objectives that we had tweaked and created. So let's move into the next part of our plan. Okay, so here we've got our strategic plan objectives ranking. So if you look on the right, you can see this is what we had discussed in terms of the strategic plan. And I believe that these were, this was the ranking that we had for last year. And we did add, I believe we wordsmithed a bit on the foster a positive, informed, and engaged school community culture. And then we also added the leveraging strategic budgeting, strong partnerships at the very bottom. So now what we need to do, all of these, of course, are important to us. So we are not saying that, these are not important objectives, but what we need to do is kind of figure out how to align them with where we're spending our money and what our budget is going to look like. So if you take a look on the left side, I kind of just laid them out based on what, we have been noticing here at the school in terms of, achievement, in terms of what is needed to support our students. So I shifted. Now, this, of course, is going to be a discussion. This is simply a draft and just kind of some of the thoughts that I had as I kind of thought through the year and where we are. So what I did was, in looking at this, I shifted math and literacy. So shifted literacy back up to number 1 and math to number 2. And the reason is for that is that we noticed a slight dip in our milestones scores last year in early literacy, very slight. Our math scores really soared ahead, which was fantastic. So we have this year been doing a lot of training, a lot of work around early literacy and kind of aligning our practices, doing some refresh on the structured literacy training that we had been looking at, working on. And then also there was a desire to really take a deep dive into writing and to really shore up what's happening with writing. So we have been working on all of those things this year, and we would like to continue to work on that for next year. So my thought process there was then, because we have been spending some money around training, and it really is a school-wide push this year, I think that shifting structured literacy up to number 1 makes sense, while of course still focusing on math as we had been. And then everything else we kind of kept the same as it was. I did add the strategic budgeting, partnerships, data-driven decisions, that one down to number 7, just thinking that that kind of undergirds everything that we're doing. And of course, the fostering a positive, informed, and engaged school and community culture, that is critical to what we do also. But I think that if we're doing really well with numbers 1 through 5, that also tends to come naturally. But I would love to hear from everybody and have some discussion around the ranking of these objectives. And let's talk and see, do we want to make any shifts here? Anybody? Morgan, was there anything I left out?
No, I think you did great. I'll echo what Dr. Brookins is saying in terms of, I agree that it makes sense for us to switch and put structured literacy above math, coming from your math coach. And saying that because based off of our data, like Dr. Brookins said, there has been a lagging in our Georgia milestones data in terms of how our students have been performing. So we have shifted for like the morphology training, the syntax training, and things like that. And I think it would be beneficial, and teachers have requested. So I support that shift. And I think other than that, the order looks good.
I also think looking at number 3, the whole child system of supports, that piece is really critical also, because our kids need to feel emotionally safe and supported in order to learn. So I really feel like that does need to be higher up there as you had it last year. But I'd love to hear from others on the team.
I also echo agreement. The only thing I would add in the whole child is the academic before, like academic is one of the pieces of whole child too, because we look at if students need additional evaluations. So whole child is those 4 tenets: academic, social, emotional learning, behavior, and wellness. I don't know if we can add that word in there.
Technically, we won't be able to add that word because we just approved our strategic plan. So this was a strategy that is written within our strategic plan.
Okay.
But I think
Tanasha? Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And I think, though, that when we think about implement a whole child system of supports, so we're talking about integrating the social emotional learning, behavior, and wellness to the academics that we have already listed above. So I think that we can kind of go at it in that way. What are your thoughts?
Yes, I just was bringing that up because on the things that we have from the district, they have those 4 areas, but I see how it's part of it. I didn't catch it before we approved it, so I apologize. But yes, I see that.
Number 4. Is that efficiency with an N?
Ed's asking about improving number 4 as our strategy. It's teacher efficacy.
Efficacy.
Yeah. Efficacy.
How effective they are.
Got it.
Well, and efficacy also like teachers' confidence in teaching,
Gotcha.
like what they are supposed to be teaching.
Sure, absolutely.
I think keeping whole child as 3 is important. Within whole child, the work that our school counselor does, the work our social worker does, the work that our MTSS specialist does, all of those are key and very important to keep in terms of our funding.
And I think it's ordered really well the way it is, because I feel like 1, 2, and 3 are just so specific and just so targeted to what we want to do. Whereas if you get further down to like 6 and 7, they seem a little bit more generalized as far as ways that we can sort of support 1, 2, and 3. So I really like the order in that we go from pretty specific, pretty targeted to just kind of more general towards the bottom. So I think the order looks really good.
Yeah, thanks for lifting that up, Melanie. That's a great point too. Okay, any other discussion? Shamika said the order looks great. Okay, well, can we make a move on this one, Morgan?
Yes, we can. Alrighty, y'all. If we are in agreement with the ranking that you all see on the left from 1 through 7, may I have a motion to approve this ranking?
I move to approve the ranking.
Thank you, Melanie. May I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Jordan. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. Everybody said aye, so no nays and no abstentions. Thank you very much. So we have taken action, and now we will chat a little bit about the budget development process.
Yes, okay, well, this is exciting. This is my first time going through a budget of this sort in my former district. Budgeting was a good bit different, so I am also learning as I go. So thank you for being here with me on this journey. So we are right here, step 2, district-wide budget allocation meeting. We are right where we need to be. You all, I believe, attended one of the meetings. I attended the first meeting, and it was very informative. I also learned a lot. So I appreciate that we were all able to hear the same information and kind of get an understanding and get on the same page together. You can kind of see the steps and the way this will look. So we're right here at step 2. We're moving into discussions with principals and associate superintendents. And of course, I have been, touching base with our district-based team. And then step 4, we will have a Go Team feedback meeting. So that will be BPA. Our meeting will be February 11th at 6. And then we'll kind of finalize some things there. I'll share some more in-depth information with you there in terms of what our budget and what our staffing may look like. Moving into step 5, the associate superintendent, that's Audrey Sofianis, and we will continue to review that together. Then I will have a meeting on February 24th with HR and principals, and that's where we'll really kind of dig into the staffing and see where we are. And then finally, things will be finalized for us March 11th at our Go Team budget finalization meeting. So that's kind of the process and the timeline for what will happen. Okay, so today we are going to just take a look at an overview of our school's budget, which you got to do some of that during the district meeting the other night. Why are we doing this? So that we can come to an understanding together around our strategic priorities, which we just talked about. Just take a look at the budget and allocations and get input to drive the development of our draft budget. So when we're doing that right now, fantastic. So you can take a look and see how our kind of duties are split up. So my role is going to be to, you can see that at the top, designing the budget, proposing operational changes. All of this will be with student achievement, of course, in mind, because that will drive everything we do. I'll be formulating strategies, managing them at the school level, focusing on day-to-day, serve as the expert on the school. Well, I have a lot of help with that for sure. Higher quality instructional and support personnel, and then collaborating with you all as the Go team, just kind of on how this all is looking. And then for the Go team, you're going to be really looking at the big picture, positions and resources, not people, which can be challenging because we know that, people are in positions, but, we oftentimes have to really think about what's best for our students. We've got to ensure that the budget is aligned to our mission and vision, and that our resources are allocated to support those strategic priorities that we just discussed and our objectives that we just discussed. And then, of course, you'll collaborate with me on the use of school level flexibility for position allocation. So we each kind of have different roles, but we are working together. All right. Thank you. And just as a reminder, here are our newly approved strategic plan objectives. Okay. All right, so some of the things that are really important for us here at BPA is keeping our class sizes as low as possible. So for K3, that would be at an average of 22 students per class, and then 4-5 would be an average of 24. Why? Well, because we know the research bears out that class size matters and it's important. The number one important thing for our students, though, is having an excellent teacher. And we are so fortunate to have so many of them here at Burgess-Peterson. So the next priority for us is really the literacy, math, and whole child strategies. So there's that academic piece paired with the whole child strategies, and really ensuring that our students are supported in all different ways. And that's why we're so grateful to have such a strong MTSS team, such a strong counseling department and social work department here at the school. So, because of that, we want to make sure that we are funding these areas appropriately. And then finally, supporting our IB PYP signature programming. So our strategic plan calls for us to do this, and this is very important. And this, again, kind of undergirds all of what is happening here at the school. So those are the things to kind of keep in mind. And then let's move into our budget. Okay, so take a look at the third bullet. So we've got about $9.9 million is what we're looking at for our budget for this year. And that is based on our projection of 603 students for next year. And that's an increase of 11 students from last year. Okay, so here we are. Here is our budget sheet. So you can see on the left, this is going to be what we're looking at for next year. In the middle is where we currently are. And then finally, in the third column, we've got any changes that we might have. So you can take a look at that. And you can see that we, again, are projected at 603 students, whereas we were projected at 592 last year, which is a change of 11 students. And then, so that matters because we get funding per student. And if you take a look at where it says SSF category, and then we're looking at our projection for next year in terms of number of students, and you can see that they're weighted. Kindergarten is weighted at a little bit higher weight than fifth grade. Kindergarten does have a para in each classroom. So, and just requires a little bit more resources than as we get into our upper grades. So you can see that each grade level has a different weight. And then when we move down, we look at our poverty, and that is taken from our free and reduced lunch number, I believe. So this number has decreased by 44 students. We get money based on those numbers in terms of what our poverty rate is. And you can see that we have decreased. So we will be getting less funds there for next year. And then when we move down into our EIP, that's our early intervention program, you can see that we are just about the same there in terms of our EIP numbers. Special ed is primarily funded through district and federal funds, it's not necessarily coming from our school-based funding. So that is weighted a little bit lower here on our budget, but we will get, of course, assistance there. And then when we look at our gifted program, we can see that we went from, where are we, 95 students to 151, which resulted in a change of $250,000 increase. So that is a good bit of, our budget increase right there. And then let's see, everything else is staying pretty similar. And that is kind of where we are. So what questions do you have here as we kind of go through this? Are there any questions? I know they did a great job in reviewing everything with us on the meetings, but I'm wondering if there are any other questions. Okay, all right. Well, of course, I'm always available too at any time if you do have questions. Let's see. So then moving into some additional earnings, the innovative programming allotment that was previously called signature funds, and that helps to support our IB program. So that is training for teachers. That is the fee to fees and dues, things of that nature. And so there we are right there, and we are down just a little bit there. And then moving down, you can take a look at everything else here. Now, the security grant and the field trip, you can see that we received money for in those lines last year. However, this year, those will be going back into the district pot, and they will support us and continue to support us with any needs of that sort, but they will just kind of manage that piece at the district level. I think they found that it would be more efficient. And then that looks like really that is about it in terms of any changes that we've got. We've got, of course, our district funded stipends, and that goes to things like our grade level chairs, our lead campus mentor will get a stipend. That is the person who works with any of our new teachers, and Morgan has been doing that role this year. But that is kind of where we are right now. So I feel like we're in very good shape with our budget. And so, we will just continue to move through the process here. Do you have any questions? Okay.
For the arts, Dr. Brookins,
Yeah.
did we have anything in the category for the school, for the district funded stipends for arts as well, or just mainly academics?
Yeah, it's primarily at this level, it's primarily our grade level chairs and our lead-based campus mentor that comes from the district. But there are places where I have flexibility to be able to allocate money for stipends. So for example, some of the extracurricular clubs, things like that. There is money there to be able to allocate money to stipends in those areas. What I want to do is take a really a very detailed approach in looking at what clubs we're offering, what does that look like, when are they happening, and kind of try to streamline that whole process for next year so that we have a really good plan and kids are able to participate in different things, you know, based on the time that they're being held. So that's something I would like for us to look at as a school and really make some determinations there as to what that should look like for next year.
Dr.
Okay,
Burgess,
thank
is
you.
pre-K funding separate from the K-5 funding?
Yeah, so my understanding, I'm sure you got the letter that just came out that we
Yeah,
will
I
be
was like,
getting.
oh, that's news.
Yeah. So that was going to be actually my principal's update. But for
Okay.
those of you who may not have seen that, yes, we will be getting a gen ed pre-K this year. Apparently, we have had them in the past. We'll be getting one class this year, and that will be about 20 students. And that is separate. That is funded separately. So that is not in our allocations.
Can I ask, did the district take on the athletics? Because I see last year the funded stipends did include them, but it's
So
not
thank you for asking. My understanding is that from the district, they fund stipends for athletics, I think for the middle and high perhaps, but we can do school-based here at the elementary. So allocating, once we get into the nitty-gritty in some of our next budget meetings, allocating money for things like a basketball stipend or the cheerleading coaches to have a stipend, things where teachers are putting in extra time above and beyond. Absolutely, we can look at giving them stipends for that here at the school level.
okay. Thank you.
Okay.
There's a question in the chat, Dr. Brookins, can stipends be used to cover 1 to 3 extra work days for the ELT, the exceptional ed lead teacher, and MTSS to support coverage before teachers arrive for pre-planning?
Yes, that is something that we will be taking a look at for sure. And it's just a matter of how to fund that or where that would come from, because I think we can do a one-time payment. I'm not sure that that is would be the same as a stipend, but I will get clarification there, and that's something we can look at and discuss. Okay, anything else here? All right, so where are we going? Well, during the next meeting, we will discuss the proposed budget for feedback and more discussion. We'll get a little bit more in depth with it and start to talk about some of the things that our school needs. Let me or Morgan as the chair know if you if there's any additional information we might need for our next discussion. Okay, Morgan, you want to take it away?
Alrighty, so we've already talked about what's next, the 2 meetings that we'll have in February and March. Again, the goal is to finish our budget by March 13th, and we'll finalize that at our March 11th meeting. Didn't look like we had any questions.
Right.
So we will move into our information item of Dr. Brookins' principal's report.
Okay, fantastic. I've got a lot to share with you today. We have another celebration today. So the Governor's Office of Student Achievement takes all of the CCRPI information, and that includes milestone scores and attendance and all different aspects. And they compile that into one score. It's the GOSA single score. And so our score last year for was it 2025? This is 2025, or was it 2024? I'm mixed up.
24. So you're talking about our
24, yes,
2025.
correct. Yep. So it's out of 100, and it was a score of 83.1, which is fantastic. But I'm so pleased to announce that we are now, as of the new designation, at 94.8 for our GOSA score out of 100. So that's going to go out in the Sun Dragon Sentinel today as well. And that is really a testament to all of the hard work that has happened here over the years. So it's really fantastic. Very, very proud of what's happening here at BPA. So well done to all of you. Very proud of you. Okay, I did get an updated capacity number from our school district. We invited them to come out and walk the building with us. There is a new formula from the state for how capacity is calculated. So based on that, they walked the building with us, looked at all of our instructional spaces, our cafeteria, all of the things. Morgan, what was the capacity number that they had in the slide deck previously?
That we originally agreed upon with Mr. White, or the
Before that, in the slide deck, the one that APS had in the slide deck.
725.
Okay, so they had said 725, which we felt was high. And it's not necessarily our classroom space, but it's things like our parking lot. It is things like cafeteria, gym, just the building capacity all over, not necessarily just those classrooms. We felt like that was a high number, so they came out and they recalculated based on a new formula, and so we are at a capacity of 700. We currently have 624 students. So that is where we are, just so you are aware of that, because that was something that we had discussed at one of our last meetings. And then I also sent out information that we will be getting a gen ed pre-K for next year. So very exciting news. We have had one previously, and I don't have a lot of logistics yet around this. APS will be working with us on logistics, but the pre-K typically has around 20 students, one teacher, and one paraprofessional. It is based on a lottery, and so students who come to pre-K here will not necessarily matriculate through BPA. Some will, but I think there for APS, the strategic plan really states that universal pre-K for all is really important, and we know that pre-K is very important. So this is just kind of the next step for us to get to where we are in a space where all APS schools have a pre-K in the building, is what I believe to be the desire there. So that will be happening next year. I also wanted to say that the Big Little Dance, the PTA Big Little Dance was phenomenal. So much hard work went into that. I think the students had a really great time. I think the parents did too. It was a really nice event, and they're already talking about what to do next year, how to make it better next year. I see some of you on the call worked hard on that dance, and were part of it. So thank you for all that you did. It was a great event. Let's see, pickup patrol. Well, let me stop there. Do we have any questions before I go too much further about anything I've shared so far? Okay, so Pickup Patrol, that is our app. It's a web-based app that we're going to be using to help us streamline dismissal. You've gotten a lot of information about that. That is going to be going live on February 2nd. So make sure if you have not put in your default plan that you go ahead and do that. And we've got plenty of help for you here at the school if you need help with that. It's pretty self-explanatory, but if you do need help, we are happy to help with that. We have an author coming on February 3rd. That is Mac Barnett, very famous children's author. That's in conjunction with Little Shop of Stories. We're very fortunate to work with them and to have these incredible authors coming our way. So we can't wait for that. We also have our PTA meeting Tuesday night, along with the Black History trivia night. I believe there's a Black History game that was really successful last year and a lot of fun for families. So we're looking forward to that. We hope you will join us. We've got Career Day coming up on February 11th, and a Principal's Coffee Chat on February 13th. And so for the coffee chat, we will have Miss Mellick, our school counselor, and Miss Rogers, our school social worker, will be doing an overview of supports that they offer for families and students here at the school. And we will also have Miss Murray, our band and orchestra teacher, will do an overview for rising 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade parents, any parent is welcome to stay and listen to that part of it, but just to kind of familiarize them with what band and orchestra looks like in our upper grades for our families, so that they know before they kind of decide whether their child will be in band or orchestra. And then I think that, oh, Helen Ruffin, we tied for first place with Drew, which was phenomenal. They're moving on to the next part of that on Saturday. So we are rooting for them, and we know they're going to do great. And then, of course, our basketball team won their first game. So well done to the coaches and the students. That's Morgan and Coach Jarrett, of course. And then we had cheerleaders for the first time. I think that was our first time having cheerleaders. Is that right? We've got Miss West on the call and Tanasha. They're both our cheering coaches. So they put together, thank you to them also for giving up their time. Their cheerleaders were doing great. I was only there for a few minutes because I had to get home to my own kids, but everybody was really doing a great job. So thank you for that. And I think that is it for me. What questions do you have? We have a quiet group tonight. Okay. Anything else?
Is that different than the CCRPI?
Well, it's combined with CCRPI. The GOSA is the Governor's Office of Student Achievement. So they take the information from CCRPI and somehow they extrapolate all of the information and they turn it into that single score. It's kind of like our report card in a way. So they work in tandem.
Do we know the single score for CCRPI at this point yet?
Well, that is it. That's it. So it's listed on the CCRPI page. So it kind of can feel a little confusing. However, it's one and the same, really. So when people are talking about the CCRPI score, it's really the GOSA single score. And so they kind of go together, but they just have different names.
Okay, that's helpful to know. So in comparison to other schools, doesn't that put us like in the top 4?
Well, we're way up there. I don't know exactly where we are. We can look that up. But what you can do, if you have a desire, you can take a look at the CCR, just Google CCRPI. And then there's, it will allow you to search the district and you can take a look and see kind of where everyone ranks. But we're up there for sure. It's really incredible.
That's exciting.
It is. And I think I shared with you last time that for our MAP growth scores, we were number 1 in the district for reading growth and number 3 in the district for math growth. So it's really incredible. Some great work is happening here. Instructional practices are so sound. Our teachers are phenomenal. Our coaches are really working hard to support them. Everyone plays a part in this. Everyone does, from having a clean building and good food to eat to our MTSS team, our exceptional ed team. I could go on and on. Our families too. This good work is happening because of everybody working together to support our students. So thank you and well done to all of you.
If it's of interest to the group, I can pull like the Jackson cluster CCRPI scores if you all want to see that. And then I can pull our score in comparison to the district if you all want to know exact.
That'd be great. Thank you. Because it seems that even beyond the Jackson cluster that we were, I know I'm rabbit holing, but I'm proud of us.
It is a strong score.
I am very proud of us. Okay.
Hey, Dr. Brookins,
yes,
in the role that you settled in a little bit, and you're up and running now in the role. So what kind of feedback is the district giving? Like, are they pointing in any direction, or do you have any plans at the start of the year, like to kind of take maybe a different path that you've seen, or start to implement some of your like training things that you kind of brought to the table initially?
Yeah, thank you for asking. Well, I will tell you, we have been doing a lot of training this year, and maybe we need to publicize it a little bit more. But what so you know, there has been a lot of great work happening around structured literacy at BPA, like for many, many years. They were kind of one of the front runners in terms of getting on board with structured literacy and working with REAP. That's a nonprofit. Reading is essential for all people, and they provide structured literacy training. So I was so fortunate to be here to come here because BPA was really right in line with my philosophy and my passion and my beliefs around early literacy. And I think it's so important that we all at the school have the right training and tools in our toolbox in order to continue to move our kids. And so when I first got here, we met together as teams and we looked at our milestone scores and last year's MAP scores. And, we all just kind of talked together about what some of the needs were moving forward. And one of the things that the staff had shared was that with the REAP training, it's really incredible. And some of them are veteran teachers who had been here for a while, hadn't been trained in a while, and they really wanted a refresher so that we could kind of align practices across all classrooms and really reduce any variability in what was happening in the classrooms. And so that was one of the things that we brought on board right away. We've been doing refresher trainings for our teams and looking at kind of refreshing also the scope and sequence of how things are taught and just making sure everybody was on the same page. So that's something we've been doing really for our K2. But 3-5 expressed interest in really going deeper into, more advanced principles of structured literacy, like looking at morphology. So kind of looking at parts of words and the meanings of parts of words and what words are derived from, suffixes, prefixes, all of that kind of stuff. So that's something that we have been working with REAP, and we've been doing some training for our 3-5 students, our teachers. And then we're also really starting to focus on writing. So we're looking at different ways to kind of get more training and practice around writing. That was a desire that teachers had also. So we kind of have been chugging along, Ed, in answer to your questions with some of those things that are really important to me, but are also really important to the BPA staff. So yeah, and then next year, we'll look at some other things and just minor tweaks and improvements where we can. I've been talking with aftercare. One thing that came up through our coffee chats was wondering about any other kind of extracurriculars that could happen. And so I talked with Shamika. Oh, she's on there. Shamika, I forgot, you're here. So Shamika and I had talked about whether that might be something that could be offered through iKids. And so we're working on a plan there. So, just looking at small tweaks that we can make and small improvements. Hi, Shamika.
Hey. I have a quick update on a potential chess
Fantastic.
class. So working on that and hoping it'll be a hit. So as soon as I have some final dates of when they'll be showing me what they have, giving us a demo class, then I'll be happy to share.
Fantastic. That sounds great. iKids has been a really great partner for us and a really great asset to our school community. So we appreciate what they do. So Ed, did that answer your questions?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, but writing for next year, I think that will be a really big push for us in looking at writing and, how we can continue to grow in our practices there.
On that note, and I'm terrible with academics, but when does like spelling get introduced and like more of a rigors of spelling? Like does that happen organically, or is there like more focused spelling type of kind of games or tricks that I can introduce to my house?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so spelling instruction looks different than it did when we were in school, right? Because when we were in school, we kind of got, well, I don't know about you, Ed, but I know that for me, we got lists of words and we'd get a spelling list each week and we'd have to, write the word 10 times and, all the things with this one list of word and have a test on Friday. And spelling, that has really changed. And so really it's all around phonics now. And so word sounds, things of that nature and how that all comes together, digraphs, different parts of the word. So spelling looks a lot different and it is integrated throughout phonics. And that's what we do every day with our students. Would you like to add any more? We've got Miss West here, Miss Mahone or Morgan.
No, I agree with what you were saying. Just learning the rules and applying the rules through the spelling
Yes.
instead of just memorizing a list of words each week.
That's right.
I
Yeah.
can say that Miss West is we told Miss West, I don't think it's like anything private or anything, but I mean Luisa, my daughter will say the rules of things as she's doing it, and we just look at her like, my God, like they're so specific.
Yes.
Not anything that we ever learned. So we kind of look at her like take double takes. It's crazy. She remembers all the things that Miss West kind of introduced to her. So we love that.
Yeah, it's really amazing about it's really amazing how things have shifted, right? So years ago, I did a structured literacy class when it was just kind of, becoming a popular thing, so to speak. And my mind was just blown by everything that I did not know at that time about teaching reading. And it opened up a whole new world to me. So like Miss West was saying, and like you were saying, Ed, like the rules, right? That was something that I didn't learn in college. And so that's why I think it's so critical for us to make sure that our teachers and our staff are getting this kind of training and that we're following the science of reading, because not everybody is getting it in their college prep work. However, I think it's getting better.
Gotcha.
Brookins, I know I spoke on this before, but I would love to facilitate something with parents so we can have like a parent university and they get to learn these rules and actually apply. I know we do literacy night, but just ongoing throughout the year for that repetition to learn. In math as well, I get a lot of parents wanting to teach the old way, and so many things have changed. So parent universities would be awesome.
Yeah, let's set that up. I think that's a fantastic idea, and I think our parents would really appreciate that. The other thing I want to note is that we do have another nonprofit called Reading Universe. They come here to the school and they in certain classrooms they're videoing the teachers using science of reading principles. And then if you go on their website, it will give, if you want to learn more about the floss rule, for example, a parent may not know what the floss rule is. They can click on it and get a visual of what the floss rule is with a teacher teaching a class or whatever it is. So we've got lots of resources out there, but Ms. West, I think that is a fantastic idea, and I think we ought to get that up and running. We could do some parent universities.
Alrighty, y'all. If we don't have any more questions, Melanie, question.
So sorry, it's a quick one. I just wanted to clarify, I'm really excited to hear about the pre-K class that is coming. I know that Burgess couldn't have it anymore for a while because of capacity issues. We're not losing any classrooms, are we? Like, we're still going to have the special education pre-K, like everything that we have now stays.
I don't know that at this point. I am not sure. APS is working through logistics and taking a look at everything. So that is not something, I have not been told at this point that I am losing any classes, but we'll just have to wait and see what is going to come as we get further into this process.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, y'all. Thank you, Melanie, for that question. We'll go ahead and get into announcements. I wanted to announce to the group that APS is in the process of going through a math resource adoption. It's going to be in the Sundragon Sentinel about community and family members options, but between the week of February 3rd through the 10th, we're looking at 3 new resources for implementation for next school year. So you'll be able to go to ISC, the instructional service, in person to see it, or BAMO is the closest other school within our area, but BPA is not a site that'll have those materials. Allie's asking what the options are. They're choosing between Carnegie and Great Minds with Eureka Squared, and then HMH. Prior to the adoption of Savvis and Vision, we at BPA utilized Eureka. I like Eureka. Miss West, I'm sure will tell you she likes Eureka. But we shall see. It's the same process where there's a link to all of the resources in the Sundragon Sentinel that's going out today. You'll be able to review all of them digitally, but also have the option to go in person. And then there's a survey that community members, families, staff, everybody can fill out. And I highly, highly encourage everyone to do so. It's a great way to give input on them. The only other meeting I wanted to announce that our next meeting is February 11th, and Tanasha brought up a good point to me. We have a basketball game at 5 o'clock on that date.
Oh, okay.
We are wondering, with our meeting currently scheduled for 6 o'clock, if there's any flexibility to change it either to an earlier time like we did today, or do a 7 p.m. if people have preferences.
Could we possibly do the 3 p.m.? Would that work for everybody?
Yes.
You said it's the 11th?
On February 11th.
Okay. You do have a Some Dragons math club. Is there anyone else perhaps who could run that?
Is that a one? Then it should be
Actually, February 12th.
February 12th.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Wednesday is the 11th is a Wednesday.
Yeah, it's not the 11th, it's the 12th.
It's the 12th. Okay.
There's also a band concert that night.
The cluster is at the Jackson cluster.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would it work for everybody then to do 3 p.m.? Would that be better?
Works for me.
Great. Fantastic. Allie, you're good with that? And Amy?
I can try. I don't know that I will be able to, but I think we have enough that we would still have a quorum. I would just need somebody to take notes.
Is
Okay.
3:15, 3:30 better?
No, I have meetings until 3:30 and then again at 4 that I can't move.
What day is that?
The 12th.
Well, okay.
Amy, did you say that was okay, or?
It's the
It should be
11th,
okay.
right?
Your reminders
12th.
are really key. That's where it's like, oh, I'm supposed to be somewhere. So
On February 12th, sorry about that.
Yeah, the 11th is career day, you said, right?
Yes, career day on the 11th. Thank you. Tanasha says she can take notes if Allie's unable to join. So we are going to move for 3 o'clock on the 12th. All right, perfect. Does anybody else have any other announcements?
No, but thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. We've reached the end of our agenda. Is there any additional business at this time? Excellent. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I move to adjourn.
Thank you, Melanie. May I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Jordan. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Everybody said aye, so no abstentions and no opposing. So thank you all so much. We will see you on February 12th at 3 o'clock.
Thank you.
Everyone, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.